All right, sports matchup number 102, March 15th, 2023 is the date of today, Wednesday, the eve of the NCAA Tournament. We'll get into some of that stuff later. But we'll start in the NBA where Kevin Durant will be out 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury, rolled his ankle in warm-ups last Wednesday before he's about to make his home debut with the Suns.
Yeah, right after we hyped it up in
Yeah.
last week's episode that it was gonna be loud for his debut at home in Phoenix, and then finds a wet spot in pregame warmups.
Tough break, certainly. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Suns are 1-3 since this, and they won the game where he got hurt, and it was the Thunder. A couple tough breaks here and there, and the other losses. So, I don't know.
Was Thunder without SGA.
Yeah. So, I think if he's going to get hurt, hopefully he doesn't get hurt again after this. If he's going to get hurt, might as well get it out of the way now. I don't know. I'm ready for the playoffs, and he'll be healthy for the playoffs, and that's really all that matters this year. So that's where I'm at on this one. The Suns bench has got to start shooting better. Myers Leonard signed through the remainder of the season with the Bucks. He's been playing some minutes here. Now, I don't think I saw him last night when the Suns played the Bucks, but they obviously have Giannis can play the 5, Brook Lopez at the 5, Bobby Portis can play the 5.
Yeah, I mean he signed back-to-back 10-day contracts, and then now they just decided to sign through the remainder of the season.
Yeah, makes sense to.
I mean, just going to give him playoff depth at the 5.
Yeah.
And then Ja met with Adam Silver today. Still waiting the NBA findings, so he's still out until NBA comes to a decision. So who knows how long that'll be?
Yeah. I think the NBA is actually what I read from Woj is that they're giving him an 8-game suspension.
Well, remember it was 2, and then they added 4.
Let me see Woj here. I think he tweeted this. So the NBA is suspending John Morant for 8 games without pay for conduct detrimental to the league. This was as of 1:55 p.m., so about 25 minutes ago. So that was quick.
So they're doing 8 more games? Or actually, 8 from the first suspension?
8 games from now, I assume.
And then Grant Hill takes over as the national team's managing director.
Sure.
Formerly held from Jerry
Colangelo, yeah.
Yeah. Grant Hill.
Grant Hill, a Phoenix Suns legend, of course. Had a couple good years in Phoenix.
Also a legend in Durham.
Well, nobody remembers that.
Well, that was before his knees were crap.
Well, he was how many years did Grant play in Phoenix? I remember it pretty well because he was starting and the team was good. Probably like 08, maybe 08, 09? Let's see.
Where did he start? He went start in Orlando, did he?
Detroit, Orlando, Phoenix, LA Clippers. He played 5 years in Phoenix, so second most games with any team was in Phoenix. So yeah, he was good with the Suns. Tail end there. Surprised he played until he was 40, I gotta say.
Well, there he was a role player. I mean, he was just there to defend and pick and pop.
Yeah.
And shoot off the ball. I mean, you had Barbosa,
Roger Bell was probably there.
Stoudemire. I mean, Marion.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do very much. He was kind of like the Iguodala before Iguodala was a thing. But shoots better.
Yeah. And they also had, I think Jason Richardson had to have been there for one of those seasons as well. All right, NBA stat leaders through March 14th.
Points per game is Joel Embiid of the Sixers at 33.4. Team points per game, Kings move up again, 121.3.
Rebounds per game, Domantas Sabonis of the Kings, 12.4, and the Bucks lead in the team reboundings at 49.
Assist Harden from the 76ers, 10.8. Team assist Warriors, 29.6.
Blocks per game, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., 3.1 of the Grizzlies, and the Nets lead 6.3 as a team.
Steals is OG still at 2, and Raptors are team steals at 9.3.
Field goal percentage, Nick Claxton of the Nets, 71.1, and the Nuggets in team field goal percentage of 50.8.
Hey, Nick Claxton, we gave him slack last week, but him keep dropping. He actually went up this week.
There you
go. Threes made Buddy Hield at 255, which is now only, I think, 6 in front of Clay. And team threes is the Warriors at 1,149.
3-point percentage is Malcolm Brogdon of the Celtics, 45.7. Team 3-point percentage is the Sixers at 38.9.
Team free throws is the 76ers at 83.5.
All right, let's go to the NFL. The legal tampering period underway on Monday, and then the league year starts today in like 30 minutes, I believe. So, I mean, a lot's going on, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, and the 49ers lead the way with 7 compensatory picks.
Yeah. Not surprising with how many good players have come and gone.
No, and if they're going to need, they may end up getting a quarterback late in this draft for added depth.
Yeah, I think the Darnold is somewhat part of that.
Yeah, but you still don't know how long Purdy, with him having to move his shoulder back, how his shoulder's going to recover from that.
Yeah, that is true.
You don't know. Why I just forget the other Trey Lance. You don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1 or what.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out there, but it's good that you have Shanahan as the coach and you have all the weapons necessary to win with any quarterback in that organization.
And you had the Rams trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins for 2023 third-round pick, the 77th overall, and tight end Hunter Long.
Yeah, I think we need to kind of relax on what we think a player is going to fetch in trades anymore, because if Jalen Ramsey's if a team's not wanting to give up a second for him, I think it speaks a lot to where the market's at in the NFL these days.
Well, that and what people value people as, his first couple years in the league when he got traded to the Rams, he was considered the best corner in the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that you cannot consider him the best corner in the game right now.
No, I think he's probably still in the top 5 or 6 when he's healthy.
Like J.C. Jackson, healthy is better.
I don't know about that. I think J.C. Jackson was more a product of the Patriots scheme than anything, especially last year when he was with the Chargers. He looked horrible before he got hurt.
Yeah, minimal scale.
But I think I'm trying to think of some names here. I don't know why my head is not allowing me to do so, but Jair Alexander is probably better or close right now.
Diggs.
Yeah, probably not him. I just think he's kind of like a merchant of the interception more than anything.
I think it's a lot of pass breakups, so
I think Patrick Surtain is better.
Yeah.
I think you can make an argument about Denzel Ward, maybe Tre'Davious White if healthy, Marlon Humphrey, but I think Ramsey's certainly in the conversation with all those guys.
He's just not what he was when he went from what he was in Jacksonville and when he first went to the Rams.
Yeah.
And the Bears trade the first overall pick to the Panthers for 4 picks and wide receiver DJ Moore with 2 years left on his deal. The 9th overall pick, the 2020 second round, 61st overall pick, 2024 first, and a 2025 second.
I think the natural reaction to this trade is that it's a good deal for the Bears in terms of how much they got back. Plus, you get DJ Moore. I think that's a great addition. And if you're on the Panthers end of things, you're nervous because you don't know what they're going to do with the pick. I think if they were to draft Anthony Richardson with this pick, it would be a major mistake. But I think Stroud's a safer move. Young would be a safer move than Richardson probably at this point.
Which we might as well, to get it out of the way, the Falcons also Panthers signed Andy Dalton to a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So then you're wondering if the Panthers are trying to now trade that pick back down to get picks back, or are they really trying to take a Stroud or Bryce Young and either sit him behind Andy Dalton for a year until they get some receivers, or what?
I think they're going to make the pick. I don't know what the pick is going to be that they make. I would lean CJ Stroud, but I think either way, if you're going to draft number 1, I think you're going to want him to play right away. So I think that making Dalton the backup probably makes the most sense in that case.
Yeah, you just never know. New coach, everything.
Yeah, I think from the perspective of the Bears, it's like if I'm a Bears fan, I wouldn't have wanted to move back to number 9 because I probably would have rather stayed in the top 5. But
everyone thought that was going to go with the Colts, and they were still going to get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter.
Yeah, which Jalen Carter could fall. You never know. But I will say,
when supposedly he looks heavier, he didn't look very good as pro day.
Yeah.
But I mean, all this other off the field stuff's got to be weighing on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Bears, you get DJ Moore, though, you're fine moving back to 9. That's how I would view it.
What does their receiving room look like now? You got Chase Claypool, DJ Moore.
Claypool's not any good, but we can pretend like he is.
No, I'm just saying, the
Darnell Mooney.
And then was Hardman's not there.
Is Equinemi St. Brown on more than a 1-year deal? That would be the next one.
I would think. And then who was the guy they got from the Chiefs? Or no, the Packers? Scantling?
That was the Chiefs got.
Oh, so who did they get from the Chiefs?
Who did the Bears get from the Chiefs? Didn't they get Pringle?
Yeah, Byron Pringle, and then didn't they get someone from Green Bay?
Yeah, St. Brown.
Oh. Yeah, you would think he's on more than 1 year.
Yeah.
But then the Bears signed free agent linebacker Tremaine Edwards from the Bills to a 4-year, $72 million deal, $50 million guaranteed.
Yeah, the Bears are going to be an awesome 7-10 team to watch. Let me tell you, it's going to be great.
Yeah, what other? They signed another linebacker, didn't they?
TJ Edwards from the Eagles. A 3-year deal. They signed some offensive linemen as well. They had a lot of cap space. Nobody should be surprised by this.
Not bad. And then the Falcons get safety Jesse Bates III in free agency, 4-year, $64.02 million, $23 million in the first year, 36 over his first 2, makes him highest paid safety in NFL history. And then they also got another good safety. Oh, I totally blanked on who it was.
Oh, look.
I don't know how the Bengals let him go and make a move for a lineman.
What am I looking for? Falcon safety?
Yeah.
I don't see any names that stick out here. Hang on.
If
I don't
if
know.
if they didn't get both, it's then the Bengals lost both of their safeties.
That sounds accurate, sure.
And then you have the off-field stuff with Joe Mixon. You had Samaje Perine go sign with the Broncos. They don't get any offensive line, so unless they're banking on drafting all this, they need to make some noise.
Yeah. Maybe Jamal Williams.
And then tight end Darren Waller traded to the Giants for a 2023 third round pick, number 100 overall.
Yeah, I think one of my thoughts here is Giants fans kind of taking a victory lap for this trade, but you got to remember that this guy has struggled to stay healthy. But value-wise, I think it's great if he is healthy, get him for a third. This is coming from a Packers fan who watched the Packers attempt to trade for Darren Waller 3 times in the last year, and they were offering second-round picks for him, and they almost got him included in the Devontae Adams trade, and it just never happened. So there you go.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you lock up Daniel Jones, you tag Saquon. Now you just need to get some receivers around, and Daniel Jones might be able to have a successful year. Well, more successful than last year.
Yeah.
I think they need to draft a couple of line spots, and if they could get the dude from Ohio State, Smith.
Oh yeah, Smith Jigba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Giants should be maybe looking to get Odell Beckham Jr., but I also think that he's probably going to end up with the Jets, if I had to guess.
We'll get to that wish list. The Colts planning on releasing quarterback Matt Ryan. So, assuming they're drafting a quarterback at 4.
Yeah, and they're going to have probably 2 options because I don't think there's going to be I think there's only going to be one taken in the top 3.
And then the Bucks signed quarterback Baker Mayfield 1 year up to $8.5 million.
Go ahead.
Not a fan. You drafted Kyle Trask in the second round 2 or 3 years ago. Sit behind Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert, who's had his fair share of decent play in the league. But you sit behind Tom Brady and take all that knowledge in, and you have all those weapons. So let's waste $8.5 million of cap space on Baker Mayfield to become his 7th head coach, however many offensive coordinator. Sounds like a plan.
Should work out. Odell Beckham Jr. held a workout for teams on Friday. See what he ends up doing.
Yeah, and there was only one video came out of that, and it was just him catching a ball one-handed.
Yeah, that would be good. Jimmy Garoppolo signed with the Raiders, 3 years, $72.75 million.
Reunites with McDaniel.
Yeah, this feels like a lateral move at best, right? I mean, from Carr to Garoppolo, there's not really a drop-off, but there's not really a huge improvement. It's not what the Bucks got when they went from Jameis to Tom Brady.
No, I guess so. Jimmy G doesn't take as much risk as Carr does.
It's also hurt way more.
He won't throw into triple coverage, and his pick numbers would be well lower.
I don't think this is going to work out, but that's just me.
And then you trade away one of his good targets to the Giants.
Yeah. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Plus, have to think that Hunter Renfrow could be next in terms of out the door with the Raiders because they signed Jacoby Myers, wide receiver. So, who knows? The 49ers signed Sam Darnold to a one-year deal for depth at the position because you got Purdy and Lance both hurt. Lance, I'm sure, will be ready to go week 1, but you don't know what he is at this point, and Purdy could be ready. Probably a 1A. I guess it's probably a 1, then a 2A, 2B situation with Purdy as the 1 and then Lance and Darnold as the 2A, 2B.
Yeah, just because you don't know with Purdy's shoulder how long it's going to take for him to recover after pushing back the surgery and everything, what his arm's going to be like after this.
Yeah. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signed cornerback Jamel Dean, 4 years, $52 million. Here's a question. Are the Bucs ruining the future of their franchise by just re-signing everybody instead of rebuilding with Brady gone? I feel like this might be a mistake. I know that you want to get the most out of your defense with Levante David. How much time does he have left and some other guys? But this feels like it might be a mistake. Maybe it's not. Maybe they can win without a great quarterback. I don't know. I'm sure this defense probably could, but I feel like it might be a mistake if they don't go full rebuild at some point.
Yeah, well, they did trade Shaq Mason to the Texans, but
seems like they're hell-bent on keeping their defense around as much as possible.
Well, because I think that's what's kept them. I mean, that was their big thing when they won the Super Bowl, other than Brady, but their defense held them in a lot of games.
Yep.
Even last year when they were having a down year, their defense was holding them in games.
One problem that you have is Shaq Barrett turning into a not what he was before he re-signed.
Well, no, because before he re-signed, you've had JPP and other pass rushers along with him.
Shaq Barrett, 19.5 sacks, 8 sacks, 10 sacks, 3 sacks in 8 games last year. So not great. And he's 30. So that's a tough one.
But they re-signed Vita Vea. Woo!
Yeah, that's the guy right there.
And Sean Murphy Bunting.
Yeah. The Cowboys trade 5th-round pick for cornerback Stephon Gilmore from the Colts, and then they re-signed linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, and then they released running back Ezekiel Elliott. So Cowboys making moves.
I did not see the Zeke thing.
Yeah, just there's rumblings earlier in the day, and then it just came out a while ago.
So they are banking on Pollard being fully healthy at the start of the year.
I have to think that they get a cheaper option as well, depending on what the price is from these guys, like a Jamal Williams type. Even though I'd love to see Jamal Williams go to the Jets, but that's just me.
Yeah, but I think they got enough running backs already there.
Well, Breece Hall might not be healthy week 1.
How much is left on James Robinson's contract?
Feels like they would trade him if they really wanted to. They didn't even really use him last year.
And who was their other back?
They got Michael Carter, and they also have Ty Johnson, and they also have Zonovan Knight. So,
yeah,
Jamal's better than all those guys except for Breece Hall, though. So let's be honest. Anyway, the Lions. Speaking of Jamal Williams, he's out the door. Detroit. The Lions signed running back David Montgomery, 3 years, $18 million. So
you
the
don't know
Lions.
if he's out the door.
Well, they essentially said he was when they made this move. Not they, but like Rappaport said, Jamal Williams is probably gone. The Lions keeping a streak alive of signing running backs from other teams in the division. Signed Jamal Williams, signed David Montgomery. I'm sure there's another one down the road that I could think of. So there you go. The Jets signed Alan Lazard to a 4-year, $44 million deal, which this whole wish list thing from Rodgers said it himself, it's BS. So I'm just gonna believe him there. I don't think that he was sitting with the Jets and saying, I demand that you bring these guys in or I'm not coming here. I don't think that that's what happened at all.
I mean, that was shared by Diana Rossini from ESPN, saying that Rodgers provided the Jets with a wish list of free agents he would like them to target and acquire, which included Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Mercedes Lewis, and Odell Beckham Jr. So 3 of his former teammates and a guy who's wanted to be his teammate for years.
Yeah, I don't think that that's entirely an accurate report. Lazard's a good player, whether you have Rodgers or not. I mean, he's a really good blocker. And
this also could be a thing, too, that I mean, it could have been more Hackett saying this because these guys know his offense.
Yeah. I'm sure that's somewhat part of it. I think the Jets probably also asked Rodgers about Lazard. Like maybe
And
the
then
Jets were interested in him anyway.
the Packers released Mercedes Lewis, right?
I think he's a free agent. I think that they signed him to like a 2-year deal a couple years ago or something.
So I mean, that could possibly happen.
Yeah, and I don't think that Rodgers is outwardly. This is how it's always framed. It's like Rodgers is outwardly telling the Jets to sign these guys, and then it's going to in turn take away playing time from like their younger players like Garrett Wilson and it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to defend my future former quarterback on this one. That was the saddest thing I've ever said, I think. But anyway, the Panthers, we already got to that, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, other news was a 2-year, $10 million deal for Andy Dalton.
And you can say the NFL draft thing if you want to now too.
No, I'll let you go first.
Okay. So Aaron Rodgers goes on Pat McAfee today and said that he intends to play, and he intends to play for the New York Jets. One of the saddest phrases I've ever heard. I've been ready for this moment for a while. Not ready, like happy ready. I wish I'd like.
That's why the Packers isn't his background today.
Yeah, I'd like to. I would like to talk to Patriots fans. I know it's not the exact same thing, but Rodgers was the starter for 15 years. He was here for 18 years. I have a couple tweets from during the season that I retweeted earlier today that were interesting that I don't remember tweeting. I tweeted Aaron Rodgers sucks at 12:47 p.m. on November 6th, 2022. And then I said I was sorry to say it. And then maybe I should delete it. I also said, now I'm trying to, what the hell was happening on November 6th?
And at 12:46, so you said this like middle of the second quarter, or not even like into the first quarter.
Well, they lost to the Lions 15-9. He threw 3 picks that day, so that's kind of. I don't know if I blame myself there. There was a Jets fan.
The point at which you said this, it was only the first quarter.
I think he'd already thrown 2 picks inside the 10, or 2 picks at the goal line by then, though. Because those were quick. They got down the field, and then which has never happened. But January 24th, Evan Roberts of WFAN in New York, a Jets fan, had a poll that said, who would you rather have at QB for the Jets? And there was options there, and it was Rodgers and Lamar Jackson and Brady. This was late January, which the Brady thing was just a throw in. There's a bunch of different options, and Rodgers won that 32.7%. I said Jets fans want Rodgers. I'd be fascinated to see it. Of course, I would still welcome him to the Packers, back to the Packers. So, and I said I was leaning towards him being traded. And then I also said January 8th, this was after the Lions game, I believe, that they lost. I said I was 100% ready to move on from Rodgers. No, I didn't even say love is the guy. I said I love the guy, a.k.a. Aaron Rodgers. They won't do it, but it's time. So I've gone very much back and forth on what was going to happen this offseason with him. And I think what is happening, which is him being traded to the Jets, which is going to happen within the next however long it's going to happen. I think for the future of the franchise, it's probably the right move. They gave it, 4 tries under LaFleur, 2 real chances to win a Super Bowl in 2020 and 2021. And last year was not good. And Love looked good in his limited moments. You could see the development, see the growth. So I think it's time to move on. As much as I wanted to see him retire as a Packer and how weird it's going to be to see him playing for the Jets, I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that again, because it's not like I was very young during the Favre thing. And I'm not even – I think when Favre left Green Bay, a lot of people chose sides. I think I'm on both sides here. I understand why the Packers want to move on. I understand why Rodgers wants to play somewhere else, even though I think Rodgers probably would have retired if the Packers handled this a little bit better. But that's neither here nor there. That's just me taking Rodgers' word for it. And I don't know if I should entirely do that. But I will be rooting for the Jets in terms of I would like to see Rodgers succeed there. But that doesn't not make me a Packer fan. I'm still – it's too much time invested. I'm not leaving.
The only thing I don't like about how long it's taken is it's almost like he's held both these teams at hostage.
I think there's an argument to make for that. I don't really agree with it, though, because I think the Packers and
Well, I
the
mean,
Jets have been
he basically made it seem like he was going to make his decision when he came out of his darkness retreat, and that was like a month ago.
I think the decision coming out of there was about whether he wanted to retire or not. And going in, he was 90% retired, he said. And then he comes out and he hears that the Packers have maybe been chopping him around a little bit after the Packers told him that they want him back. If you retire, that's okay. You can retire as a Packer, but we want you back. If you want to play, you can play back here. And then something changed with the Packers. They wanted to trade him. And that's when he's like, okay, fine, I'll play somewhere else. And it was weird. I think one difference here is that Rodgers essentially said that he made his decision on Friday about wanting to play for the Jets. And that was 5 days ago. So it's pretty much up to the Packers just to figure out the trade compensation, which the trade compensation for Rodgers is going to be embarrassing. It's going to suck. It's not going to be as much as everybody thinks. We're going to get laughed at a little bit. I've prepared for all of that. One thing that sucks about this is how much I love the NCAA tournament, and I don't know if I can watch it without thinking about this in some form or fashion. But whatever, that's not really that big of a deal. But like I said, no ill will towards Rodgers. Part of me wants to say I hate Mark Murphy. I think a lot of Packer fans might feel that way right now. But yeah, I'm not going to be rooting against the Jets. I'll root for the Jets. And
I mean, all in all, he's still going to retire as a Packer.
Yeah. And he said many times how much he loved the fans and the organization in the city during his interview with McAfee. So I don't think this is going to be as bad of a breakup as the Favre thing was. Talk about Favre. I mean, the guy retired and then expected to just walk back in and play, which that's what makes this situation different. And that Rodgers also has supported and been great for Jordan Love in the last 3 years. Favre was not that for Rodgers. So it's a big difference. And it's why I have so much more respect and so much more appreciation for Aaron Rodgers than Brett Favre. It's not even close for me. But maybe if I was a little bit older, I'd think a little bit differently. But, I mean, best of luck to Aaron, my good friend. It's been a long ride. I
mean, you were in diapers when he started.
Well, I don't know if that's entirely true. I was, like 11 years old. I remember everything about the 2010 Super Bowl. So that is true. I don't, what can you do? I don't know what the Packers are going to look like this year. I think part of why I'm not going to say they're being held hostage is because they weren't going to do anything in free agency, whether Rodgers was the quarterback or not the quarterback, and they're going to lose cap space by trading him. So I don't know.
Have they franchise tagged anybody yet?
No. The offseason for the Packers is pretty much trade Rodgers, hopefully have a lot of picks in the draft because they have some compensatory picks, and then move on.
What if they do all this and then they sign Lamar?
That would be hilarious, but I think there's a 0% chance. If the Packers – I think the best resolution to this entire thing is the Jets and the Packers both make the playoffs next season, or the Jets make the playoffs and the Packers get the number one pick. Either one works for me. But I think it would be hilarious if the Packers won the division in Jordan Love's first season, which isn't impossible. Like the Vikings and Bears and Lions, are they that much better than the Packers if Jordan Love's the quarterback? I'm not entirely convinced. Let's not forget the Packers still have a lot of good players in their defense. So we'll see. Hopefully this trade gets figured out, though, because I'm tired of waiting to be embarrassed by the return they get, which is probably going to be like a second-round pick and like a conditional third or something, and it's going to be like, Jesus, what a joke. But if they get the 13th pick, that'd be great.
And then now you have the NFL draft April 27th to the 29th outside Union Station in Kansas City, Missouri.
I didn't even realize it was in KC. All right. The Packers will be making some big picks that night. It's going to be a big night. Maybe they'll move up to number one, get Anthony Richardson, huh? Anyway.
Hey, you think maybe they'll draft some offensive guys or something now?
If they drafted a tight end in the first round, it would be both funny and annoying at the same time, I would say.
No, just more like Rodgers gone.
Yeah,
let's get the guys now.
I mean, hey, Gutekunst is the guy who drafted Love. Maybe he'll treat Love a little differently than he did Rodgers in terms of what he brought in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. Golf.
Last weekend, you had the Players' Championship winner Scotty Scheffler won $4.5 million, shot 17 under. Though it was kind of overshadowed on day 3 by Tom Hogue setting the new course record, shooting 10 under. He's 62.
Pretty good.
And this weekend, you have the Valspar Championship defending champion Sam Burns at Innisbrook Resort, Copperhead Course, Palm Harbor, Florida.
Yep, decent field. Not the best, not the worst, I would say. Definitely not the Honda Classic field. Definitely not the field from last week of the Players, but just getting on the road to Augusta here. So there you go. College hoops.
Patrick Ewing out at Georgetown.
Yeah, this had to happen last year or this year, but it didn't work at all.
And Shire first to win ACC championship as player and coach.
Yeah, he won a pretty Mickey Mouse ACC title this year. That ACC conference is terrible. I'm not wrong about this. I mean, Virginia sucks, and Virginia's the team you got to beat. And who else did they beat? They beat
Miami.
Yeah, Miami had Norchad Omier get hurt like right away, and that's brutal. Pretty Mickey Mouse compared to the usuals, though.
I can't see if Miami probably would have beat him if that guy didn't get hurt.
Maybe, yeah. That's the ACC this year, though, is that the bottom is so bad that like some of these teams, like Virginia has no business being 25-7. That is not a 25-7 basketball team. They don't score the ball very well, and defensively, they're not what Bennett usually is. I had a whole 5-minute rant on this during my bracket breakdown. You just look at the history of their defensive efficiency and offense. They have a serviceable offense in terms of like top 30, top 35, which is actually good, but serviceable by elite team terms, I guess. And a top 10 defense, that's where Virginia can win. They don't have anything remotely close to that this year. They're not good. Pitt's not very good either. Pitt, I mean, I don't really – I did pick Pitt to win a round, though, so we'll get to that. But and then Clemson didn't deserve to get in because you can't lose to Louisville and Florida State and Boston College and Wofford or these other schools and get away with it. You just can't. Can't happen. But that's just, I think, what we learned this week about the committee and how they do things, that the conference tournaments do not matter to them at all. They don't care about that at all. Because if they did, I don't think that they put NC State away. Like, I don't think they just put NC State in the field. I think NC State would be playing in Dayton right now if they cared about the conference tournaments.
Hey, when you just quit hating on the ACC? Because I don't think the Big Ten should have gotten 10 teams in.
And the Big Ten got 8, I believe.
I shouldn't have got 8.
I think they probably earned 8 this year. I think 9 would have been too much. I think 10 would have been too much. But like, out of the Big Ten right now, out of 8, who are you taking out?
Michigan State.
Michigan State's a 7 seed.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
I don't agree with that, but that's all right. I mean, I definitely don't have Michigan State.
Were they 19 and 12?
Well, it's not all cut and dry. I mean, they're Big Ten records.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, they are. If that was the system, if we were still doing it that way, then we would have a worse field.
Not saying going by records, but I'm saying they shouldn't be a 7 if they're in.
Well, you got to look at the entire picture. You know,
you could argue that they could be in a playing game as well.
I don't know. They go 11-8 in the Big Ten. I think that's kind of enough. I mean, they wins over Maryland, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky.
Who are their losses in the Big Ten, though?
Let's see. Illinois, Purdue, Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, Michigan, Iowa. So really 2 losses to teams didn't make the tournament, but Michigan was a road loss. That's fine. And Rutgers was the second to last team out. So
Iowa, another team you could take out?
Iowa's resume definitely doesn't seem like an 8 seed to me, but I don't know. The whole field's, it's one of those things. Bill Self went to the emergency room last Wednesday, had a procedure of some sort, missed the entire Big 12 tournament. He'll be back, I guess, tomorrow because they play Howard tomorrow.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back.
Yeah, we'll see. Now we have the bracket. I don't know what we're doing with this. I guess just picking the first and second rounds or something?
I mean, we could pick the whole thing.
I guess that's true. Yeah. However you want to do it.
And we just start in the South.
Who are your second round matchups based on first round winners?
At Bama versus Maryland, San Diego State versus Virginia, NC State versus Baylor, Mizzou versus Arizona.
All right, so we have different at the top, same at the bottom. I have Missouri, Arizona, NC State, Baylor, but I also have San Diego State, Furman, and West Virginia, Bama. So I am a little bit afraid about how popular of an upset pick Furman is, but if you look at Tony Bennett in the last few years, Virginia's either been first-round exit or national championship 3 times, so I'll take my – plus Furman's old, and they have some good scorers at the top. Okay, you want to go down to the East?
Oh, might as well just keep going to the South.
All right, that's fine, yeah.
And then I got Bama, Virginia, Baylor, Arizona.
I got Bama, San Diego State, Baylor, Arizona.
And then Bama, Arizona.
Yep.
And then I have Bama.
Arizona. Let's go to the Midwest. Let's go across.
I got Houston versus Auburn, Miami versus Kent State, Iowa State versus Xavier, Texas A&M versus Texas.
I have Houston versus Iowa. I have Miami versus Kent State. I have Pitt versus Xavier. Texas A&M versus Texas.
Pitt's not that good, but they're beating Iowa State.
I did say, well, Iowa State's not good either. Iowa State's boring. They can't score. Iowa State is probably a little bit better than Mississippi State in terms of the talent, but they're both the similar muck-it-up defense teams, and Otzelberger does have a better track record than a lot of coaches do that coach these types of teams, especially since they got to the Sweet 16 last year, but I'm taking Pitt.
I'm kind of surprised we both have Kent State beating Indiana.
Yeah, I didn't really want to make that pick, but I did anyway. So I have 2 13s winning.
And then I have Houston versus Miami and Xavier versus Texas.
I have Xavier, Texas as well, but I have Houston, Kent State. Rematch of a game in December where Kent State lost to Houston at Houston 49-44, and the refs screwed them. So Kent State, they are a bad matchup for Indiana, and we'll see the health of Miami. But Miami made a run of the Elite Eight last year. I don't know if they can replicate that, despite the fact they do have Nigel Pack in there now and Omier, so that's, they're loaded. But they're probably the most well-equipped ACC team to make a run. But I'm going to say they lose in the second round. Why not?
Then I have Houston versus Texas.
I have Houston versus Texas, yes.
And I have Texas.
I have Houston.
Houston making it to Houston, huh?
Yep. Down to the West.
Kansas, Arkansas, St. Mary's, UConn, TCU, Gonzaga, Boise State, UCLA.
I have Kansas, Arkansas, St. Mary's, UConn, TCU, Gonzaga, Northwestern, UCLA.
Kansas, St. Mary's, Gonzaga, UCLA.
Me too, yes.
Kansas, UCLA.
Kansas, Gonzaga.
I have Kansas.
I have Gonzaga coming out. Now, the East region is where I got weird, so bear with me.
I have Purdue, Memphis, Duke, Louisiana, Providence, K-State, USC, Marquette.
I have Purdue, Memphis. I have Duke, Tennessee. I have Kentucky, K-State, and I have Michigan State, Marquette.
And then I have Purdue, Duke, K-State, Marquette.
I have Memphis, Duke, and K-State, Michigan State.
I have Duke, K-State.
I have Memphis, Michigan State.
I have K-State coming out.
Michigan State.
All in on that.
Give me Izzo.
Your championship game?
Arizona, Gonzaga.
Yeah, Bama versus Texas.
I have Arizona cutting down the nets.
I have Bama.
So I have Gonzaga losing their third national championship game in 7 years or 6 years. I think it's 6 years. Because they lost to North Carolina in 17 or something. I think that was the one. Because 16 and 18 was Villanova. 17 was North Carolina beating Gonzaga. And then 2021, they lost to Baylor. So there's 3. We'll see. Every time Gonzaga gets to a Final Four, they get to the national championship. So I'll go with that, I guess.
I mean, I don't have them getting to the Elite Eight, so.
But you're just a hater. And UCLA's hurt, or else I would have picked UCLA.
I'm not a hater. That just.
I don't know about that. All right.
That's just how I picked them. How am I hating on them? I have them and St. Mary's both making it to the Sweet 16.
I don't know. I think you're trying to cover up for something. All right. Baseball. The WBC is going on. I have nothing else to add to that because I have zero interest in this event. I got to be honest. Timing of it is terrible.
Cuba's look good.
U.S. looked bad against Mexico, but then they killed Canada, so I don't know. And they got to beat Colombia to get through the group stage or whatever. I mean, how could they time this in March? It's so dumb.
And then they lost to like a pregame before this. They lost to the Giants or something.
Yeah, then they beat the Angels.
Well, I mean, you have the Angels' best player on the lineup, so, and the other one's in Japan.
Yeah, that's true.
And then MLB opening day is Thursday, March 30th.
Yeah, so 15 days. Should be fun for everybody.
Does not feel like baseball is about to start in 15 days with the weather we have around here.
Yeah, a lot of random matchups on opening day too, so that should be interesting more than anything, I guess. But
I think the Cardinals are at home on the.
Yeah, they're playing the Blue Jays. Hence the random matchups. So you got that. You got the Yankees and the Giants, which would have been electric if Aaron Judge went to the Giants and we have that. But I guess you can't get it. All right, NHL.
Oilers' Leon Draisaitl joins McDavid in a 100-point club last night with a goal and an assist.
The Oilers are 100% losing in the first or second round, but that's neither here nor there.
If they get there.
That's true, but I think they will. The West around them is pretty weak.
Right now, I think they're the second wild card team.
Yeah, but the teams chasing them like the Blues and the Predators, and those teams aren't any good. Hence, emphasis on the Blues. They are trash. But that's all right.
I mean, they've traded away half their team.
Yeah, but they got some fun players like Kasperi Kapanen, bringing him in off of waivers. He's a fun player. Jacob Vrana.
I'm not saying they didn't bring it in, but they gave a lot away.
And they are, 2-2 in the last week, so that's not too bad. They won a couple games. Those wins, of course, being over the Sharks, who were terrible, and the Blue Jackets, who were terrible. But we're just going to pretend like that never happened.
I mean, the Bruins got destroyed by the Blackhawks.
That's a good thing for me because the Blackhawks winning means that their odds for getting Bedard become worse, and I don't want them to get Bedard, but that's whatever, what can you do even if they do? They were going to get another number one pick at some point, so whatever. NHL stat leaders through March 14th.
Before you had Adam Fantilli.
Yeah.
Season to date, 52 points. He's first in that. Goals, 22, second. Points per game, 1.72, second. He's a third youngest player in college hockey. And the Bedard thing, out of 47 games for him, McDavid, he has McDavid by 3 points, 15 more goals, 12 less assists.
One interesting thing here is that Fantilli wasn't even named the Big Ten Player of the Year. It was Matthew Nyes from Minnesota. So that was interesting potential snub there. I don't see how you could pick one guy from a team that has 3 elite players, but not pick Fantilli from Michigan, but whatever. McDavid, 129 points, 29 ahead of the next, which would be Draisaitl at 100. So
Defensive points, Erik Karlsson, 85, 18 ahead.
rookie points, Matty Beniers, 48, 8 ahead.
Goals, McDavid, 56, 10 ahead.
Defenseman goals, Erik Karlsson, 22 ahead.
Rookie goals, Beniers, 19, 1 ahead.
Assists, Connor McDavid, 73, 4 ahead. What's his career high in assists? I'm going to look that up.
Defenseman assists, Erik Karlsson, 65, 9 ahead.
Rookie assists, Matthias Michelli, 31, 2 ahead.
Goalie wins, Linus Ullmark, 33, 3 ahead.
Goaltender save percentage, Ullmark, 935, plus .004 ahead.
And team points leader is the Bruins, 50, 11, and 5, 105 points, 9 ahead. And they're the only team so far that has clinched a playoff berth.
McDavid, his career high in assists is 79, so he needs 7 assists in the next 14 games.
What is Karlsson's highest points on a year? Like, I mean, is this his highest at 85 points?
I would have to think so. I don't remember him ever. His career high was 82 with Ottawa in 2015-16.
And how many assists?
66, so he needs 2 more to break it.
So he had more goals that year.
He had 16 goals that year, so he has 20 goals this year.
All right, but I thought you said points he had 80.
82.
So how's that work? If he only needs, he's already passed that, but he had less. How many goals did he had?
He has 4 more goals this year and 1 less assist. 4 minus 1 is 3. He's 3 points ahead of his career high. So 20 goals, 65 assists, 16 goals, 66 assists.
Yeah.
And he's had 5 seasons of 70 plus points. And this is his second season with 20 goals, or third season with 20 goals. He had 21 goals in 2014-15. So putting up numbers.
In the end of his career.
Yeah. All right, picks.
Last weekend I went 10-3, 1-1 in NBA, 2-0 in hockey, 4-2 in college hoops. Out of picking conference tournament winners, and then I hit on 3 golfers.
Yeah, I 2-0 in the NBA, 2 golfers, NHL 1-1, and 1 for 5 or 1 for 6, 1-5 in the college hoops picks. Or 1 for 6, whatever. It was not good.
1-5.
Yeah.
So you went
6-6.
5. You had 5 wins.
1 college hoops, 1 NHL, 2 golfers, 2 NBA.
Oh, I thought you said 1 golfer.
Yeah. All right, Valspar.
You want to go to that before NBA tonight?
I guess we could do NBA tonight, yeah.
I got the Kings -1 over the Bulls and the 76ers -2 over the Cavs.
I have the Clippers -3 against the Warriors. The Warriors are terrible on the road, like 7-26 on the road or something. And I think the Kings going to pick them at the Bulls. The Kings score a ton of points. The Bulls are pretty good defensively, but I think the Kings can outscore them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they lead the league in points per game.
Yeah. All right, why don't we do NHL, then do the Valspar?
NHL for tomorrow, I got the Rangers -140 over the Penguins and the Vegas Golden Knights -120 over the Flames.
I have the Devils -135 over the Lightning and the Avalanche -140 at the Senators. Valspar, Copperhead, Palm Harbor. Here we go.
To win, I have Justin Thomas +1,200, Jordan Spieth +1,200, and Keegan Bradley +2,200.
I will take Jordan Spieth +1,400, Tommy Fleetwood +2,200, and my good friend Davis Riley +4,000.
Top 5, I have Justin Rose +450.
Matt Fitzpatrick plus 330.
Top 10, Matt Fitzpatrick plus 175.
I will take Gary Woodland plus 400.
Top 20, Tommy Fleetwood plus 125.
I am going Maverick McNeely plus 210.
Top 40, Joel Damon plus 130.
I'm taking Nick Taylor plus 130. So, all right. That'll do it for us. We'll be back next Wednesday. Talk some college basketball before the Sweet 16. Talk about how the Packers got robbed by the Jets in the trade for Rodgers and other things as well. More NFL news, I'm sure, and closer to the NFL NBA playoffs. So we'll see everybody next week.
Deuces.